Hey yo, GOAT format players, it's Skill Brown Magician here, and we are back with day number 2 of the Halloween special. And I'm really excited about this deck because it is NECROFEAR Return, and it's basically Return of Fear 2.0. There's an original deck profile from 2 years ago. I'll try to link it here, and you can check that one out as well. I've modernized it. I've really refined it to just the best fiend types that I could find in the format, and the best fiend types happen to be very aggressive. So we are going with an aggro shell, and yeah, this is what I came up with for Necrofear Return in day number 2 of the Halloween special. Okay, so Necrofear, this is our banish trigger in the deck. We play 2 copies. Very fitting Halloween themed card, insane card art, carrying this like broken doll, insane blue color, this armor. Yeah, just crazy. Um, you banish 3 fiend type monsters, special summon her to the field, and she has this effect where in the end phase, if she's there, because she was destroyed by an opponent's card effect. So if it's destroyed by battle, destroyed by card effect, as long as it's in the graveyard during the end phase, it can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, you equip it, and you take control of that monster. And it becomes like a snatch steal uh, once it gets killed. It has 2200 attack, 2800 defense, and the main effect is that it's banishing 3 fiends, which is loading up for return for the different dimension. Our other trigger that we're playing in the deck, the Spice Slate Warrior, he's a random wind type. He's a 4-star fiend and he's a flip effect. I think he's the highest attack flip effect monster in GOAT format. I'm pretty sure for like 4 stars or below. Yeah, he's at 1900 attack, and his effect is cool. He has 2. He has his flip effect where he gains 500 additional attack and defense, putting him up to 2400 attack. And if he's destroyed by battle, whatever monster destroyed him loses 500 attack and defense, which is pretty sizable. That will take down a Chaos Sorcerer to like 1800, which you can swing over now with Archfiend Soldier. So, Slate Warrior, he's just not a monster that your opponent wants to run over most of the time, and they'll try to use card effects to get rid of him, um, to dodge his effect. Also, a fiend, giant orc, he is totally fitting for the Halloween theme. I mean, that card art, the red glow surrounding him, that crazy like OG Yu-Gi-Oh vibes with that green warping background, such a sweet card. I wonder if they have like hollow prints of it um, in real life. His effect is he gets switched to defense as soon as he attacks, but he's a 2200 beat stick, and he kills Gravekeeper Spy. So that is a pretty good use in our deck. We run triple Archfiend Soldier just because he's a solid fiend beat stick, 1900 vanilla, 1500 defense, which is sizable. Also, we're running Giant Germ because having a fiend that can swarm the field, especially from the deck, being able to summon 2 copies from your deck, has this accumulative 500 burn damage as well when you destroy him. It tallies up the life points very quickly in this deck. The spice that I'm running is Tsukiyomi. So I think Tsukiyomi really pairs well with this deck because you have 6 different targets that it works with. Obviously, the Slate Warrior because it's a flip effect, but Tsukiyomi combos really well with Giant Orc because if you attack with Giant Orc, he switched to defense until the end phase of your next turn, unless you reset him by using Tsukiyomi's effect to flip him face down, and then you can flip summon him and you can attack again. So Tsukiyomi pairs well with this like aggro theme that we have in the deck where um, you can boost up your Slate Warrior to 2400 now. Maybe he's just your 1900 beat stick, and hey, you drew Tsukiyomi, now you can boost Slate Warrior to 2400 attack, which is just insane. That'll crash with any monarch and Jinzo, and he's just like a flip effect monster, a random fiend. And yeah, cool card art, fits with the theme. All these different fiends. Sangan, also a fiend, which is perfect because yeah, it's just nice that he's an additional monster that you can banish with Dark Necrofear. Got DD Warrior Lady, really strong to combo with Return. And then we run two Terror King Archfiend. Two, I feel like, is the perfect amount because you don't want to see him right away. Um, it's not ideal to set him. Your opponent attacks him, he gets flipped, and then during your first standby phase, you already had to pay 800 life points and you haven't even done anything with him yet. So sometimes he can be stuck in your hand if you don't have Archfiend Soldier already out on the field. So two, I feel like, is the perfect amount, but he is an additional boss monster in the deck. A straight up 2000 normal summon, and he negates anything that he destroys. This includes a Sangan effect. This includes Tomatoes effect. I don't believe it negates flip effects, but it does negate things like Sangan's search effect and Tomatoes effect. Uh, Someone can, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he negates flips. Uh, Also, an additional effect is that if your opponent tries to target him with, let's say, Snatch Steal or Raigeki Break, they have to roll, or you get to roll the die, and if you roll a 2 or a 5, you negate it. So yeah, he's just a super stacked card, and he's a fiend, and yeah, he's a boss monster that you can just normal summon. Insane effect. So that aggro shell that I was talking about earlier, triple jar of greed, um, double return from the different dimension. We have enough cards that I feel like two copies of return is merited here. Seeing return early isn't a bad thing because you can get your Slate Warrior knocked early as well. And you'll see in the replay, I actually get him knocked on purpose. I had a feeling, and I get him knocked um, so I can boost up my return. So it's kind of fun to play with uh, sets in this deck because pretty much all of these cards you want to normal summon, even Giant Germ, you want to crash it. Uh, you don't want to get it knocked. But Slate Warrior, when you throw him down and you set that monster, they finally want to use that knock that they've been holding on to all game. So most of the time you can fool them into knocking your Slate Warrior in this deck specifically. We run the, ring, mirror, no torrential because we're trying to just swarm the field and always have monsters on the field. And then double dust tornado. This card is really strong in this deck, clearing their back row in the end phase, making sure that they can't even get the effect off, and then being able to set your return from the different dimension in their end phase so you can then activate it during your turn. Really busted and can really ensure you getting a game shot that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise gotten. So, like if you had MST set, you would have to have MST and your return from the different dimension set. Whereas if you have just Dust Tornado, it's only one back row. Your opponent, they're not going to drop a heavy on a Dust Tornado, right? So you can use Dust Tornado to get around um, setting return until their end phase where they can't respond to it and you can clear one of their back row, hopefully ensuring a game shot. Um, this deck, super aggro, I don't know if you counted it, it's running 6 different monster removal during our turn. You have Snatch, Minecon, double knock, and then double smashing ground. So we have so many removals, so many just different ways to remove my opponent's monsters from their field and then just swing in with all these beat sticks. And if you can get return off, I mean, one Dark Necrofear, you're banishing 3 of these, and that's already like if you're banishing even just one Archfiend Soldier and 2 Giant Germs, that's already 3,900 life points. That's like half their life points. So this is a really fun deck. I really like Fiends. I think Fiends are like underrated in GOAT format. So let's get into the replays. If you've been enjoying it, don't forget, leave me a like, Leave me a sub if you haven't already joined the 1K club. Feel free to join. And yeah, leave me a like, sub, or a comment, and let me know, what did you like more, King's Skull or NECROFEAR Return? If you didn't see day number 1, you should go check it out as well. Okay, so he wins. Uh, he wins RPS, and I opened pretty decent here. Not gonna lie, we have the Archfiend Soldier and Terra King Archfiend, which is nice. And he gets right into his Thunder Dragon play. And T-set. My turn. And this is fine. I have Pot of Greed. We're gonna draw 2. Yeah, we got a really stacked hand. Dark Necrofear early, but we have so many different fiends already, and Giant Germ can definitely fetch us more fiends from deck. We're just gonna go. What are you gonna do? Summon the Archfiend Soldier, slam it down, attack. It's a deco, doesn't activate the back row. Set the MST in the jar. And now he does his back row. Raigeki Break in the end phase. Sends the Knight Assailant to get back his deco, and he gets rid of my Archfiend Soldier. Okay. So now he drops the heavy, and that was kind of a bummer, but hey, at least I get the Jar of Greed. But the MST gets sent. Summons a tomato. And I fortunately just drew into my Exiled Forest if I did want to use it. But I do have the Saku. So I'm just going to swing over. And then whatever he summons after, if he decides to swing in, I have Saku ready. Okay, main phase 2, set the Saku. Let's see what he's going to do next. Sets 1, sets a back row. Doesn't attack in, that's fine. We're going to bring out Terra King Archfiend. He makes his appearance because I had Archfiend Soldier on the field. Let's go. Summon the boss monster, attack into the tomato, force him to use his back row. We're going to roll the die. We're hoping for a 2 or a 5 to negate Raigeki Break. And we don't get it. But it does force him to use his resources. We swing in. Unfortunately, it is Gravekeeper Spy. I don't think I have 3 in grave yet. Okay, I have 2 Fiends in grave. But once I get my Dark Necrofear online, I will be able to clear the Gravekeeper Spies. Or if I even get into my orcs, my giant orcs. Okay, so what am I gonna do here? I think I remember. Yeah, okay, so I swing over the tomato. I think that was his last copy. He might have one more, but I figured maybe he didn't. And he does bring out the Sangan, brings it out. I'm surprised. He lets me crash in with Giant Germ. So he takes the 500 burn, and then I get 2 copies of Fiends out. And I fulfill the requirement for Dark Necrofear. And he gets Deco with Sangan. I guess he lets me crash in because he wanted that Deco. And then I am a noob. So he lights me up again with Heavy Storm. That's a bummer. I'm like losing so many cards that I didn't need to. It's a bummer. Yeah. And then he crashes his Magician of Faith. Is that his only light? Yeah, I don't know why he crashes Magician of Faith. Maybe he has Knight Assailant. Gonna try to recur it. Yeah, crashes in, takes 700, but has double Gravekeeper Spy. But here I decide I'm gonna Minecon the face down. It was the Deco. So I draw into Slate Warrior. A little late. That's okay. I special summon Dark Necrofear. We're gonna go in. We're gonna at least clear one of his Gravekeeper Spy. So he still doesn't set back row, so yeah, that's gonna be an issue for him. Like if I exiled here, Yeah, so I'm going to be able to start doing a little bit of damage. I'll get 2k in here with the double giant germs. We're just swinging in. And after watching this replay, I realized with the giant germs, they're just bodies that you're trying to swing for damage. We're playing aggro. Just swing in. Because if you can chip in and get that extra 2k damage, why not? So here, does he have the... Yeah, so he didn't even have... What did he have to have? A Mirror Force? Yeah, Mirror Force or... Yeah, Torrential. I'm playing around Torrential. So he had to have Mirror Force. So honestly there, I should have just been okay with risking it all. I feel like I should have just swung in with... Well, he would have had 400 life points left if I did swing in. Or 600 life points left, so... I guess that's okay. So here I finally set the Slate Warrior, and I know, I'm like, if he has a knock, he's gonna rip it now. Yeah, so I was like, prepping the return that I just set. So I'm prepping the return. I have crazy targets, so I know I can sacrifice this whole board, and I'll be able to bring back a full board of five monsters, and like this is disgusting. I don't know how this works. Would I be able to special summon Terra King Archfiend? Oh, yeah, it can't be normal. So you could just straight up special summon him. Yeah, so I could just bring him back. Yeah, so theoretically, I could bring back 3 Slate Warriors, Terra King Archfiend, Archfiend Soldier. That's disgusting. Okay, so sets 2 Backrow, sets a monster. Here we go. Swing in. It is the dreaded Gravekeeper Spy, but I swing over it with Dark NECROFEAR. And here he gets... It's pretty spicy. So he's able to play around Dark NECROFEAR's effect. So he had Raigeki breaks, NECROFEAR. Then in the end phase, when I target his face-up monster with NECROFEAR's effect, Chain, Book of Moon, and he flips it face down. And now NECROFEAR stays in the graveyard. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get around this Gravekeeper. So yeah, honestly not bad. Rips a Graceful Charity. Keeps him in the game here. What is he going to get? And here we go. So honestly, the DD Warrior Lady is pretty nice here, knowing that I could clear. And he gets Graceful Charity off of the Magician of Faith. Yeah, so this whole time I should have just been swinging in with everything. But anyways, okay. So he's going to rip the Graceful again? Yeah, dang. So he's really got his engine going. He gets Kaiku, and yeah, here it's like Kaiku, I'm fine with that. Kaiku against this deck is actually really friendly. Help me load up my return. So he banishes my NECROFEAR, but honestly, I can still special summon NECROFEAR with Return's effect, because she's a special summon where it says must first be special summoned, so you can bring her out again afterwards, after she's been summoned properly. So I have a ton of different options here. I'm going to swipe the Gravekeeper Spy, and I'm just going to, I guess now is the time, I'm just going to attack. And that is the game. Gotta kind of speed up through this. I shouldn't narrate it so much, but going game 2. He's got the Sengen, the Backrow, and unfortunately here I did draw the double giant germs, which was a bummer. It'd always be like that. You have double the recruiters, 2 of your GK Spies, 2 Thunder Dragons, and you're like, man, my luck. But here, he did Mindcon the Giant Germ, which was kind of nice. That was funny. And then I want him to flip up my Terra King Archfiend. And then he swings over my summoned Giant Germ. I still have the one Giant Germ in hand. And he still hasn't swung in, but that's okay. I'm just kind of stacking the field. I could afford to put another Giant Germ down. He does rip the Minecon again. And he gets another Giant Germ. That's actually funny. I didn't catch that in the replay when I was watching it. He goes double Minecon, double Giant Germ. That's funny. And then I get my Giant Germ back. And here we go. I have to pay the 800, but now my Archfiend is online. I have Slate Warrior. And he Book of Moons it, so I can't get Sangan's effect, but I roll the die, and he gets around it again. So that protection effect, it's, what is it, 2 out of 6, so that's like a 33% chance that you're gonna hit it. Maybe my math's wrong. But here I'm just going through his tomato, and I'm traumatized. I just ring the the GK spy right away. I don't know why I ring it so quick. I don't think that's optimal, but hey, what do you do? Swings into the final Giant Germ, and then he gets a serpent, takes the 500, sets one, sets a Backrow. We go Dust. It was Dust Shoot. That was kind of a bluff. Here we go. Attack with Slate first. And I'm going to just clear over one of these GK spies now. We're going to try to get this going. He gets out Chaos Orc, and he attacks in. And because he attacks into the face down, I'm able to just Saku, which is pretty nice. He doesn't use a banish effect. So clear him right away. Here, I rip the Minecon. I think I just top deck that. Unfortunately, it's Tomato. But I can put in an attack. I'm going to pressure. If he does Mirror, at least his Tomato will be gone too. But he takes the 1900, and then he gets his Tomato back. Gets a late Thunder Dragon. I don't know what his Backrow is. That might help him. I'm not sure. And I Mirror Force the Tomato to keep it out. And then he responds with Chaos Sorcerer to banish the Giant Orc. I normal summon the Archfiend Soldier so I can flip up the Terra King Archfiend and swing into the face down. And I am curious about this ruling. If you destroy Sinister Serpent with Terra King Archfiend, does that negate his effect to return back to hand? I really have no idea, but I think here we played it that it just stays in graveyard. But I feel like that's weird. But if Terra King Archfiend can do that, that's sick. Anyways, Smashing Ground, perfect answer to their Chaos plays when you get the Smashing Ground. It's like, usually you have to just rely on getting a Snatch Steal against them. But in this deck, you have Snatch Steal, you have Mind Control, double Smashing Ground. So definitely different counters, lots of counters to their Chaos. And now we're going to just go Beat Sticks, pressure with another 19. Then now I can switch my Orc into attack. Can you use card destruction when only you have cards? I feel like you can. I feel like I checked the rulings. Yeah, it's been a while since I played. Okay. And I draw into the knock. Yeah, I top deck the knock. And we're just going to set one because Archfiend has high defense. And that was game. So you got to see NECROFEAR return in action. Yeah, I really enjoy this deck. Like Archfiends are super sick, and I think they're definitely underrated in GOAT format. I think if you wanted to clean this deck and refine it even more and just really make it a pure, even more pure, I think you could go one copy of NECROFEAR And then, yeah, I think honestly trading out maybe a Necrofear and then throwing in like a BLS and maybe two more Light Warriors because we already have DD Warrior Lady. I think that might be a another way of making the deck. But yeah, this is what I came up with. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But this is day number 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's and the next days and the next days, and for the rest of this week, you'll have a profile from me. So much love to all of you guys. This is my 1,000 subscribers special. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a good day. Take care. Peace.